folks, welcome to Week in Review. I'm Tom Vasel, and this is a video that we put up here in the Dice Tower where we go over all the reviews we did last week and give you short summaries of them. That way, if you're interested and want to learn more about these games, you can just click on the links in the description and see the full review.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. So last week I did a little interview from Origins with just regular attendees, and I did a couple of quick fire questions with them. Go check out that video. And then I did a few reviews. So I reviewed 3 expansions to Subterra, which is a great cooperative exploration sort of game. Those expansions are Investigation, which was my favorite one. It added a deck of items, which I really thought enhanced the feel of the game. Annihilation, which is really cool and forces you to go into the cavern and set bombs and have it collapse as you escape. And then Extraction, which added a new monster type and just sort of felt like it made the game generally harder. The game's already really hard anyway, so that one was my least favorite one. I reviewed a game called Dungeon Raiders. This is a Phil Walker Harding design that he did years ago. Got republished by Devir now, and it's a very nice production of the game. The game is a little repetitive, but it's a nice sort of dungeon crawl done with just cards. It works well. Lots of simultaneous selection in it though, so it's nice. But I think it's starting to show its age a little bit. Maybe that's I think what I'm not super on board about. I did a game called Emporion, and this is a 2-player game. Really, it plays 3 and plays 4, but it really gets best at 2. And it's got a lot going on. It kind of feels like a Seven Wonders esque sort of game. You're building up your empire. The one thing I don't like about it is the iconography. I thought was not super clear. It's not very distinct. The game does not look as fantastic as I wanted to, because the design is solid. I thought the gameplay was interesting and fairly captivating, but it didn't quite look the part. And then lastly, I reviewed a game called Nautilus. This is only 2 players. It's sort of an older Charles Chevalier design, who is someone who's kind of come into the spotlight now as a game designer. This game, if I thought Dungeon Raiders showed its age, this one certainly does. It feels really repetitive. You play 6 rounds, they all feel exactly the same. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of escalation there. It has a few special cards that all have no surprises. They don't pack any surprise in the game. And so I wanted more. And those changes suggest themselves immediately. So I assume someone like him, who's a good designer, would probably rework the sort of thing, if they were to remake it now. As it is, though, yeah, it's a little past its prime, let's say. So that's it for me. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. I did 3 reviews and 2 other videos for you this week. The 3 reviews started off with a game called Dragon Rush. Now this is a game that really felt like a cross between Bejeweled or Candy Crush and Tetris. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you might want to go ahead and check this out. For me, I only gave it a 5 out of 10. It just really wasn't my cup of tea, but you can go check that video out and see what you think. It was interesting, but not for very long. Also did a game called The Great Tour European Cities. Now this one I gave a 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy the premise, the concept. And the reason I enjoyed the concept of the game is because it was very much like Ticket to Ride, and I really enjoyed Ticket to Ride. It did have a couple of differences in it. Instead of just having one big deck that you're drawing from, you have 3 different decks that you draw from, and they all have their specialities, so to speak, so you know what you're kind of going to get with each draw. And then there's also active tickets. There's not everybody has their own tickets, there's active tickets. But basically, you're just trying to complete as many tickets, and those tickets are going to be giving you points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. So you can kind of get the idea, but go check that out. 6 out of 10 for Great Tour European Cities. And then I also did a review for Barbarian Battlegrounds, or Barbarians is what it's listed as under the in the Geek. And this is basically a dice rolling game where you are allocating those dice to certain things. You're either going to go out and attack other clans, or you're going to produce some resources to kind of build up the fortifications and upgrades of your clan. And it's kind of a race in that you're trying to get to 7 points first. And whoever is able to do that the quickest is the winner. I really enjoyed the game, had a lot of fun with it. It is a filler game. It only takes about 25-30 minutes to play, maybe a little bit over that. So it is just a filler game. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 though. I did enjoy the game. Everybody I played it with enjoyed it. So we had a great time with it. Go check that out. Also did a live Q&A last week. So if you're interested in seeing how I answer different questions over the course of about an hour and 10 minutes, you can go check that out. And then we also had a shorter condensed version because we just didn't have as many contributors submit segments this week of Token Punch Lunch. Has a new intro in it, so you can go check that out at the very least. But that's it from me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
Well, for me, I reviewed 18 games this week. Although, to be fair, a lot of them were very, very small. First of all, Jump In. This is one of the worst games I've ever played. It's horrible. You roll die, and then you play a card that matches that die, maybe, or matches... It's like Uno with a die. Bleh. Flip Cup. Yeah, you don't really need this game. I mean, you can just... If you want to play Flip Cups, just play Flip Cups. There's not enough stuff. The component quality is slightly good, but just, yeah, this is a pass for me. Not my style. Welcome to Main Street. This is a kids game, and I like, I put kids games through an easier testing run than an adult game, and yet this didn't do it for me. Too much luck. It's definitely aimed at little kids, but bad quality components and too much luck. There are many better games out there. Chameleon Time, one of many real-time games I talked about, where you are going to flip over a chameleon card, and then you're hitting something on the table that matches what the background is, plus the number of chameleons that are on the table. It's okay. Nothing really new here. Woohoo! This is a kid's game that's very specifically pointed towards like 2, 3, 4-year-olds, where they're going to roll a die, move a guy up a ladder, and slide down a ladder and get a toy. It's okay again. Again, it's very specifically pointed at that crowd. De Stijl, this is a game that you are making these paintings of this type, and you are playing cards, trying to make as many different groups of your color as you possibly can. And if there's a big, large group, you can get some extra bonus points. It's okay. It's kind of like a very passive, like, let's play cards down and see what happens type thing. Cubies. This is a fun game that, again, it's for kids, where you're going to make a face as fast as you can and quickly, you have 3 blocks and put them together. Another speed game. Legendary Creatures. This is a game that's good. It's not as good as it could have been because there's too much going on in this game. I mean, way too much for what you get out of it, I think. But there still is a lot of neat concepts. There's deck building, the background, and the production is amazing. There's just a lot of cool things in the game, just maybe a little too much. Herbalism. This is a little deduction game. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a Zen-type deduction game. You're trying to figure out 2 things, asking people questions. You're listening to the questions, trying to figure it out. But it's a lot simpler than many other more complex ones. Würfel Blitz, this is a speed game that I did enjoy, where you roll some dice and you're going to count up the pips on the dice, but some dice will cancel out other dice. That's the whole thing, but it's small, portable, and is fun. Head of Mousehold, this is a game in which you are playing mice, different mouse traps, and trying to play the second mouse, because the first mouse gets caught by the mouse trap, the second mouse gets the cheese. And this game has great artwork, some really great components. Forbidden City. This one doesn't look as fantastic when it's on the table, but it is a classic Reiner Knizia game in which you are laying tiles down, think Carcassonne almost, and getting points based on different rooms that can then chain off other rooms so that you can build some pretty good combos in this game. Journey to Osiris, this is a really amazing looking game from Daily Magic as this funeral barge is moving down the river, and you are trying to build monuments so that the pharaoh can look at them and go, oh, I like you. There's a lot of cool aspects to this game, a lot of you're drawing things from a bag, using these to get, and those spots where you'll place workers in this game monuments can be put there, which cancels them out, so it has a dynamic shift to it. Exodus Paris Novois. This is a new social deduction game from Indie Boards and Cards, and it's in the Resistance universe, but it's not like Resistance. Essentially, in this game, you are as trying to convince people that you're on one of two teams, the good team or the bad team, and one team is running from the other team, and so there's a lot of back and forth, and it's so much determines on are you able to convince other people that you tell the truth. Starship Samurai, this game from Plaid Hat, is another amazing production with fantastic art, cool miniatures, giant, it's basically Voltron, the board game in a sense, these giant robots flying around in space. Very take that-y. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it a lot. Reef. Oh, this game is amazing. This is such a simple, fun little game from Plan B where you're placing these tiles down, these little reef tiles, using a card. You'll put tiles down and then score. And then you're trying to figure out the best order to play the cards in. Me and Melody took a look at the new Exit games, the two new ones. One's very easy, one's very hard. But both are actually really fantastic. One is, I would say, hey, this is if you're playing for the first time, try that one out. And the other, I would say, woof, it's a tough one, but we thought the puzzles in it were really well done. And Critical Mass, this is the newest Dice Tower Essential game. I'm a little biased here because I found this game and got it printed, but it is a great back and forth mech 1v1 game where you're trying to outthink your opponent. There's 2 different sets for this one. It's coming out very soon. Definitely check that out. Whew, that's a lot that we did this week. Those are all our different videos that we put out. Again, you can check the links in the descriptions if you want to see the full reviews. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Week in Review.